I'm Julie.
And I'm Des.
And we're the Gals. Real life, real talk from real women.
So grab your coffee
and let's chat.
Welcome to the Gals Podcast, and we are live on Facebook. This is a special edition of the Gals Podcast. Julie is back from getting her wisdom teeth out, and we've got a lot of exciting things to cover today.
There we go. We did a super quick recap of
yeah,
what
that
we
was
just
super
talked
quick,
about.
right?
I think it was good.
Yeah, I think that was pretty straightforward. Maybe
Absolutely.
we should do that more often on the Gals. Just get right to the point.
Minimize our talk in the beginning. Well, I was saying that Des has a cute little baby bump, and
Yes.
she has a shirt on today that says "Coming Soon." With the little feet prints on it. So cute.
Yeah, it is really cute. So
Baby
thanks. Shout out to
girl.
Jade
Baby
for
girl child.
all the maternity clothes that she gave me.
I'm so excited to buy things for this baby. It's gonna be adorable.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Cute little baby.
I know.
We're gonna bring her on the Gals Podcast.
Oh, that would be cute. Yeah, we
know.
should do that.
We should
She'll
do
be
that.
a little annoying, but maybe she'll sleep.
Maybe she will. We can just show her for a second.
Yeah.
Like, this is the baby.
Bye.
Peace out. So anyway,
Yes.
since I have not been here, I was a speaker at an event. I was asked to be a closing speaker.
That's right. For what event?
It was an event called Stepping Out, which is through the organization of Jewish Family and Children's Services, which is where I went to therapy for the last couple of years. I met my therapist, Carly. And Carly had asked me probably about 8 months ago if I'd be interested in sharing my story. And I told her yes. And then the person that's in charge of it asked me to write the speech. And then she said, actually, I'd prefer you to be this closing speaker. And I was like, okay, I don't know.
Is that a better spot?
Qualifies me to do with that, but sure. So I prepped for it and rewrote my speech and everything probably like 100 times and saw the venue beforehand. Brock and I went, and there were so many people there, 500 people. It was a beautiful event. I was so, I don't know. I was like, am I really doing this? Am I really going to share this information? But in the end, I felt that the fear of not doing it, because there were people there that I knew, a lot of people that I knew, and I was worried that a lot of people I work with too. And I was thinking, wow, I'm going to share this story with all these people that I see every day. But the importance of what would come from the speech and the knowledge that it would bring was, to me, bigger than the fear of not doing it. So I was like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm putting my big girl pants on and I'm going to go for it. And I gave my speech, and it was great. I didn't have any problems giving it. I don't have a problem being on stage, because I think as a musician, it's comfortable for you. Yeah. And afterwards, I actually got a 500 people standing ovation.
Wow.
And I was like, I will not cry. This is being recorded. I will not cry. And I walked up to my therapist who was sitting with me, and she just gave me a big hug. And it was really powerful. And I'm honored that I was able to do that. And I'm hoping that, more people will understand and stop the stigma of mental illness. And my goal is to break down the walls for women and for children, and actually for everyone who is scared to say that they need to get help for something. I personally think everybody needs to talk to a therapist about anything and everything.
That everybody does.
To be somewhere where you can just be open and honest without having anyone judge you, and to be able to get some guidance on things and some direction. Like, who doesn't want that? So I'm grateful that I have that personally. And it's been 2 years that I have been with Carly, and it has been a life-changing experience. And I've grown a lot from that. I've learned a lot of things that were very difficult to work through in the last couple of years. And it's funny, because in therapy, I think people go into it thinking, well, once you start, you're going to immediately improve. But the sessions are hard. And some you come out and you're crying, and some you come out and you're like, wow, that was great, and you feel relieved. But it's the work you put into it that will help you overcome the things that maybe are challenging in your life. And it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows when you come out of therapy. But
or just in life in general.
But really, it's what you do with the tools that they give you and how you move forward.
Right. I think in everything we need tools. And I was just thinking about this the other day. It's so funny. Like in marriage, we need tools. In parenting, we need tools. I need a lot of tools. I need to go to parenting classes, and I haven't really done that. giving birth for the second time. It's like you forget, how to give birth. You forget what pregnancy is like, and you need tools. Like we need tools for life. We need
everything.
Tools for our mind.
Mm-hmm.
And just going back to a little off topic to your fear and how this was more important than your fear, and how when you stepped on the plane to go to Georgia to do the Worship Circle conference, how your fear of flying and travel and being away from home kind of, even though it was there, it was squashed by this dream that you have.
Yes.
And that when we have fears, we need to find what our dream is and our goals are and go for that no matter what our fears may be. Some people have fear of failure or fear of, traveling and flying, and especially being in our career choice, we have to do some traveling. So
yes.
Is the dream worth it, or are we going to give into the fear and just
and I think we
step
constantly
back?
we are constantly in a place where people are watching us. As worship leaders and as musicians, people have opinions about what we do and what we say and how we look and how we sing and all these different things, and we're constantly getting feedback, whether that's positive feedback or negative feedback. We're constantly getting feedback. So to learn to kind of look at it and pass it along and not take it to heart. Even the compliments, like you want to, Kim Walker-Smith was talking about this, like when people give her compliments about worship leading, she takes it but immediately lets it go because she doesn't want to have to constantly look for those compliments. And for me personally, I don't want to have to look. I don't want to look for those compliments. I'll take what people say and I will thank them for it, but it's not going to make or break what I'm going to do next.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a really good point. Also, for us, I think Julie and I, our personalities were very, I won't say vulnerable, but we're very sensitive to the comments of other people. And we're on stage. Because God made us like that. We're artists. We're singers. We're very in touch with our emotions.
I think as creatives, we can't help it. We're emotional.
Exactly. And my husband, he always says that he has a lot of female in him because he's very emotional. He's very in touch with his feminine side, and he cries, and he's just a really great, sensitive guy. Like, he loves chick flicks and stuff, but he's an artist. And I think that those things go hand in hand. When God has created you to be that way, you're also an artist in some shape or form. But it can be really, really hard for me, and I'm sure for you, when people say bad things about you.
Yes.
Or when you just are having a bad hair day, or you have bad breath, or you have stuff stuck in your teeth, or you don't have the best fashion on stage, and you're getting a little weight, or you're too thin, or just all kinds of things, or you're off pitch that day, or they don't like your song choices. It can be very, very discouraging. And many times I'm like, I just don't want to do this anymore.
I agree. And I also have to say, it seems that women, sorry to say this, world, are more scrutinized. I know you guys know it, than men, especially in the things that we do.
With that?
Like, dudes can roll up with their beanies and their never washed hair and a button down shirt, and we're like, oh, I love his vibe.
Ew, I'm not loving that vibe.
You're like, oh, I like his vibe. He's like a little hipster, a little bohemian. Like, I like it. It's cool. It's like folky. And then can you imagine if we rolled up on stage like that? There'd be like, something is seriously wrong with them. And
my gosh, she looks so tired.
They're like, she needs to go home.
Even this morning, I had to wash my hair. I'm like, I can't let Julie see this oily hair right now, because I washed it the last time with organic shampoo, and organic stuff is always a little weird, so you got to try out certain things. And then I let it go for a few days just because I was, I don't always wash my hair.
Please, me either.
Yeah,
I washed my hair like a week ago.
Because then I had to blow dry it and all this stuff, and I'm like, I cannot walk in that studio with this hair. So even that mentality, like, I don't have a lot of time, but I have to wash my hair, and I'm afraid of what I'm going to look like, even just going to Wawa, what this girl's going to think of me, or this guy or whatever, and or how I'm going to feel about myself, and just, I don't want to feel terrible, so I have to look my best and make sure everybody sees a nice face, and it's a lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure. Anyway, so when it comes to body image, I think it's very difficult for women especially. I know that men struggle with it too. I'm not, putting that aside. But I think there is just this level of perfection in a way that is expected and you not that someone has ever said it to you, but it's everywhere. It's in our faces. Like, every time you open something, social media, or if you read magazines, like I personally love to have a magazine, things like that. And you look at it and you're like, every single thing. This girl's like, I just woke up and she washed her face. And you're like, how does she have impeccable skin? Like everything you are expected to walk out and just be this perfect or put together self. And that's to me a very negative stigma that we've created. And I know a lot of people talk about this, but I think it affects us in a way too, because even when we lead worship and it seems like it shouldn't be a thing, like we really think hard about what image we are putting on that stage, and we want it to be a certain degree, and it we want to give off a certain vibe, and there's nothing negative about that, but there's just always a standard, and sometimes it messes with you in a really negative way.
Yeah.
And the comparison game, you're like, oh, well, I don't look like how Kim Walker-Smith does, or I don't have the carefree look that this person has or that person has, and I'm not as cool as Chris McClarney, whatever. You just like go through a list in your head, or oh my gosh, I wish I could pull off a tunic like Carrie Job. She looks so cool. And you just kind of.
She wore a tunic?
She always wears like these long tunic shirts. No, she always wears these like long tunic shirts with like skinny jeans. Like that's one of her. I always see her in these type of things. But like I can't wear that stuff. But you start to compare.
Or like she does like a headband around her.
Yeah, she does.
Headband around her head. She has a headband and it's like real tight and her hair's like pulled up a little bit. And for her, it's cute.
If I put that on there, I would look so stupid.
I tried it once. It was so funny.
You're like, I'm doing this.
Word on stage. Just like it really is a joke, but it was so.
But it was a no-go?
No, it was awful.
It's hard. Anxiety is hard. And there's different forms of it. And it comes out in different ways.
It sure does. So my husband and I, praise the Lord, we sold our house. We've been wanting to sell it since, I don't know, the summer of 2019. We took it off the market for a while, and then we got the bright idea right before Christmas, like a week before Christmas, to put it back on the market. And in February, earlier this month, we finally sold our home.
So exciting, though.
Yeah, it's been a tough process, though, and you just went through that whole process. It was really hard. And then we just bought a new home.
The most stressful. The amount of paperwork.
And finances, yeah.
In like the last 2 weeks up to closing is very stressful. So just, take a deep breath ahead of time. And
I'm not looking forward to it.
I'm just letting you know because I just did it. So that part is annoying. But then once you are ready and you can move, even though the moving can be overwhelming, you're like, well, still, this is mine.
Yeah.
So, you feel better in the end.
Yes.
I still don't have stuff on my walls, so.
Hey, it's a process.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll be in that house forever?
I hope long term. Yeah, I don't want to move again. I've moved so much. Like Brock and I have moved probably like 4 or 5 times.
Really?
Since being together.
In like a home or apartment or?
Yeah, always
kind of both?
to a home.
Yeah.
But it's stressful. Moving is terrible. It just is. It's stressful. But knowing that we were moving into a home that was ours, like we weren't renting, that part was really, there's like an ease to it.
So is this the first home that you've...
We owned one a long time ago, but we have rented since then. And, there's just something good about it. And it's funny because there's stuff that needs to go on the walls. It's just like on the floor where it needs to be hung up. Or like behind a piece of furniture where it needs to be hung up.
And is that Brock's job or your job?
I mean... I really need my dad for this, Shout out to Brock for trying to hang stuff, okay?
It's hard to get things to be level.
It's just not his, cup of tea.
Yeah.
He's not that type of dude, I give him credit, though. He tries, and he gets some things work out. But, like, a lot of my stuff is heavy, and you need to have, like, wall anchors, and there's a lot more than just, like, putting stuff up.
Yeah.
And most of the things that still aren't hung up are really heavy. It's like I have a huge mirror and, like, a huge picture and another mirror. And so, they just can't be done.
Right.
Need my dad for it. So, Arthur Seifert, if
calling Arthur,
you could come over and help with the cat door, hanging the things on the wall, and helping me with the weird electric problem we're having in the basement.
Write it down.
You're my home inspector, so you already know these things.
He does home inspection. Yeah, so we're in the process of, we bought the new home. Actually, we found a home on Zillow. God bless Zillow. It's awesome.